Today, we're going to talk about the number one fear that most retirees have in retirement. That's running out of money. So, we're going to talk about how to actually make your retirement savings last. I'm Derek Mazzarello with Gateway Financial Partners. All right, so the first thing we want to do is kind of create a little bit of a step process here. So, number one, we want to figure out our expenses, right? And then we're going to put those in two categories. What's your fixed and what are your variable expenses? Right. So this is going to be, all right, what am I paying on my rent? What's my insurances every month? What's my taxes? Like all those things that that money is coming in every month that I have to pay those bills for. And next is going to be your variable. So these tend to be the more fun stuff. Maybe it's going out, maybe it's groceries or whatever. But that's something you really want to get a handle on those two numbers. So let's say your fixed is, I don't know, just for easy math here, 10K a month, and then you spend another 5K a month on just going out having fun with the old retirees. Okay, so then we have to talk about, okay, we know what we're spending on average every month. Now we have to know, okay, what are we actually going to have come in? So what's going to be your income sources in retirement? Now, for many, that's only going to be a few things, and some of you it might only be one thing, but the main thing that everyone's going to have is typically Social Security. So what are we getting from Social Security every month? Okay, and then what are we going to get from, I don't know if you have anything with like a pension, or maybe you have, I don't know, alimony or something like that. But what do you have that is going to have money coming in every single month? Because one of the things we really want to try and do is, okay, with Social Security and pension and any other income sources, is really try and see if we can take care of this fixed amount number. So let's say we're getting, 4,000 a month from Social Security. That means we have, essentially $6,000 a month of consistent income that we want to try and make up with other sources of income. And I'll get to that in a second. But so the other source we're going to have is typically, what have you saved? Right. And that's going to be, your IRAs, your 401ks, whatever, investment account. I don't know, life insurance if you have that, if you have the ability to draw from it. But all those things you're going to want to say, okay, well, what's the amount saved and what can I safely generate for income a year? I mean, the general rule of thumb is typically the safe withdrawal rate is historically around 4% of your assets. So if you had $1 million, you can essentially generate $40,000 a year of income, for example. That rule to me is a little bit dated, but it could give you a good framework on where it goes because basically the market inflation is going to really determine how much you can actually withdraw. But the next question I want to ask is, okay, of the amount that I have saved, what would it take to close this $6,000 gap here for just consistent income? And for many folks, that could be doing something like, okay, I'm going to buy an annuity because the one nice thing about annuities is they will pay you, depending on the type, for the rest of your life. So if you live to 70, the payments will go until then. If you live to 120 years old, the payments will continue. And the one challenge we have when it comes to retirement is figuring out, okay, we have no idea when you're going to actually die. If we did, retirement planning would be incredibly easy. But unfortunately, we can't figure that out. So a lot of people may say, okay, I'll take some of my money here that I have in my IRA, I'm going to put it into an annuity, and I'm going to cover that $6,000 gap. So now between Social Security and a pension, I've got my fixed accounts set up. Then after that, with the variable stuff, you typically want to have that invested in the market. That could be a combination of CDs, it could be a combination of bonds and stocks, any type of investment, but you don't want to be too conservative. I see a lot of people, saying, okay, I've got this pot of money in retirement, I can't lose it. The one challenge that we have if we're too conservative is we have to battle inflation. And that is just the prices of things going up over time, right? So something that used to cost you $10 in 15 years may cost you $20. Right. So we have to account for that growth in expenses. We can't do that just sitting in typically cash, right? Because over time, the value of your money is going to just drop like this. So you have to have that balance of cash and investments to help create that. So you really want to have a mix of bonds, probably cash for short-term expenses and to take care of the market risk, and then stocks to help battle kind of inflation there. So that's really kind of the mix that you want to do. And you really want to figure out, okay, am I on track to generate the other $5,000 a month with inflation with the other types of assets that I have saved? So that's really kind of a lot of the back of the envelope piece of it, but that's really the framework you want to look at in terms of, okay, how am I going to make sure I'm not running out of money? You really want to look at a few of these things. So what are my expenses? what do I have coming in for income, and what do I have saved, right? And depending on where you have money that's weak, maybe it's okay, maybe I need to work another year to get Social Security pushed out so that payment is a little higher because you get an 8% increase on your income each year. Okay, maybe I'm a little behind on the savings I have, so maybe I need to save a little bit more for the next 3 to 5 years to beef that up so I can withdraw the 4%, at a reasonable clip and not worry about running out of money. And then also maybe it's like, hey, I'm just too conservative with my money. I've maybe too much cash or too much in bonds. Maybe I just need to have a little bit more stock here to make sure that I can beat inflation and have money for the long term. Because retirement income planning at the end of the day is really about having balance because there's competing risks in retirement, whether that's a market risk, inflation, or you living too long, or taxes going crazy. You really want to make sure you have different levers you can pull. And by creating a framework where you have money coming in every month and your basic bills getting paid can be really incredibly powerful for a lot of folks. It especially will help you weather those, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills because the stock's down. Like you don't want to be in that situation. So having a blend of all these different tools can really help you have a solid retirement, and hopefully you won't have to worry about running out of money if you have a lot of these things in place. So Derek Mazzarella with Gateway Financial Partners. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe.